All right, I'm currently heading to Tequila Lime. I forget the name of the place that I'm performing at. But yeah, we're heading there right now. I just got off work, feeling pretty good. Heading to the show. Just kind of went over my set in my head. I have ideas now where I'm going. I should probably have that locked down even more. But I have a lot on my plate right now in my life. So once I get that stuff taken care of, I know everything will kind of slow down for me. And give me a lot more time to just really tighten and bolt down everything. But I think I'm doing a 10-minute set, and I'm pretty excited about it. We got a lot of shows this week, just a lot of shows, and they come in randomly. You don't at this stage you don't know when they're going to come, and you just take it as it is, and you just do your best and just stay strong, stay in the pocket, which is basically if things aren't going your way, just stay right there, be in the moment, and don't freak out, don't panic, don't get crazy, don't yell at the crowd, don't do anything ridiculous, and just tell your jokes, and hopefully one will land and you can kind of get them. We'll see what happens though. I like to listen to a lot of stand-up before I go on stage. I like to listen to a lot of Patrice O'Neal. That's like one that I really listen to a lot. The Elephant in the Room, and Ali Siddiq, that one as well. The Domino Effect, the first one, which is just one of the best specials that I've seen drop. I mean, Ali Siddiq Domino Effect 1 is just top notch. I mean, it's one of the greatest specials ever to drop, in my opinion. He's just unbelievable. His callbacks were just phenomenal. Like, his callbacks, the way that he did it, changed callbacks for me completely. There's only one guy that I've seen do callbacks that are so different than what he did. And that's Dave Chappelle when he did the I kicked her in the pussy one, when he pulls out the joke from the bowl, the fish bowl, and then I see the joke, and it was I kicked her in the pussy, and then I'm going to go see how I can make that work. And that's the Dave Chappelle joke where he talks about going to white dinner and how undelicious it was, but they had stovetop stuffing, and then he finds out that they don't have any left over. So he kicked the kid's mom that he was friends with in the pussy, basically. And he was like, see, I told you the punchline, and you still didn't see it coming. That's how dope I am. Dave Chappelle, that's one of the best callbacks of all time, and one of the other best callbacks of all time, in my opinion, is the Domino Effect. The way that Ali Siddiq ties everything in at the end it's insane, and his storytelling ability is something. I said this the other day, like Dave Chappelle is like one of the best storytellers as well, obviously, but he does more he'll storytell about anything, which is great. But the way and the detail of what Ali Siddiq does is insane, and there's moments where when you're doing the storytelling kind of comedy, which is has blown up and been probably the most popular style of comedy of all time, in my opinion, especially now. But with the way that they do it, there's going to be moments where there's no laughter, and it's how do you stay interesting in those moments? So you have to put in a ton, and I mean a ton of detail to do that. So it has to be very not just a ton of extra fat detail where you're repeating yourself over and over and over again, which I do. But it's just more about the little tiny details. Like Ali Siddiq has a joke where he's like, if you had a father like me, you should have never even just had a father. I never even really saw him. I would see him, but not on scheduled visits. And I would just see him, when we were out. And my mom would be like, hey, there goes your daddy again. And the crowd erupted when he did that. The way he did his hand movements and the way that he switches his energies in his act is just insanely good, and the way that he ties everything back in, it's a masterclass of comedy with Ali Siddiq. He's on another level, another stratosphere, in my opinion. He dropped 9 specials in a very short span, 3 years, even not even. It's just, he's on another level, man. I don't know how else to say it, but he's on another level. He's insane. But I like to listen to those guys. It gets me in the zone, and then I just kind of go through my set and what I'm going to say. I've been repeating it in my, like, out loud, which has been helping me kind of remember where I'm at with my set and like what to say on stage. Sometimes I forget like what I'm trying to say. I don't know if it's the nerves. I don't know exactly what it is, but something gets a hold of me and it kind of throws me off. So yeah, it's a situation sometimes. I knew like remembering my words were going to be tough because I have a weirdly hard time remembering lyrics to songs. I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's because, sorry, I'm moving the light around a little bit. I don't know what it is. I don't know. It's just me. I don't know. But I have a weird time with lyrics, and so that kind of translates to my comedy a little bit, where I forget like what I'm gonna say or whatever, or I blank out a lot. I'm not there. That's called not being there in the moment, like not living in the moment, and that's one of the most important things as a comic that I gathered in the last 3 years. Been doing comedy, so yeah, we're gonna see what happens. My homie's gonna be on stage with me, so it's gonna be a good time. He's Antonio's doing it. Antonio Hernandez. He's doing the same show, and he's been really getting good, and just being very laser with his jokes. Like, if there's a comic that I've seen in the last like 5 years in the open mic scene, not including like, you know, headliners or whatever, he's probably the most like consistent with his delivery and how tight his material is. There's not really a bunch of extra wordage. It's pretty much boom, 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 and he does stories. So it's good to see, you know what I mean? And so we're doing it together, and I'm excited to see him, man. So he's one of my favorite people to talk comedy with, and we really get after each other. Like, if a joke sucks or whatever, like, we really try to figure out how to get it better or make fun of each other until we figure it out, basically. It's kind of what we do, to be honest, which is good, because you got to have that ability to, you got to have somebody who can push the limits a little bit on you, just so you're not surrounded by a bunch of yes men, because if you are, you're never really going to know what's good and what's bad. And that happens a lot. Everyone's super positive. Like, the way that you can be negative, you could be like negative and positive, but the same way that you could be negative and super negative and can just destroy people is the same way that you could be super positive with somebody, where it's like negative positivity, basically, and where you're overly too positive and you're trying to say that this person's great and they just ate shit on stage, and like, you know. And I noticed that happens here a lot, but not for me. Everyone's like, they don't even talk to me if I eat dick. They just walk away, which is fine. I don't want to talk to them either. So, which is totally good. But like, other people, when they see somebody who kills all the time at Wise Guys, which is, by the way, it's only a 3-minute set, so and it's one of those rooms that's set up for you to kill, I would say. Like, the deck is stacked in your favor, and I still struggle in there because it's more mental for me, not anything else. But when they see somebody struggle, they'll be like, yeah, you did great. And it's like, no, they didn't. Like, don't lie to them. That's crazy. Like, if they didn't do good, they didn't do good. Hey, just say, you know, I've seen you do better. That's it. Next time you'll get them. That's it. That's all you got to say. But, hey, who cares? Either way, we are heading to the show. We're almost there, and let's get after it. All right, so just heading to work right now, and the roads are busy. But, yeah, we had our set last night, and, oh, my God, this truck is going crazy. I don't like this. All right. Had my set last night, and very back and forth, very inconsistent. The moments I was doing good, I was killing. The moments I was doing bad, you could hear crickets in the room. It was just a battle, and that's kind of what's been going on lately with me, constantly. We're trying to figure it out. We're trying to figure this thing out. So, but basically what happened was, first comic went up. She runs the show. She did really great. Second comic goes up, and the crowd was kind of stiff with her. And I noticed that, and they were there. The crowd was there for a mixer, so they're not there for comedy, right? So this is a restaurant. So I knew from doing kind of shows like this previously, I knew that I needed to like somehow break them. And there was a porn convention in town in Vegas, so I just said basically, I was like, oh, is this a mixer? Or like, I realized like, I was like, I didn't know if this was a mixer for like a porn. Like, I didn't know you guys were all like porn stars or something. I was like, wow, this is crazy. And that kind of lifted it up, and I did that. I riffed off that for a minute. Everything was rocking, and then I did my first joke, nailed it, and then I did my second joke, did good, And then I blanked out, and I don't know what it is. I keep having these like weird, it's almost like getting knocked out from a punch, like where I get like this weird nervous thing and my brain shuts off, like I forget everything. And it's getting a little frustrating, but it's part of this whole thing with me. I'm trying to get past that. It's been 3 years and I still have that issue. And then when I got back into reality, basically trying to get back into living in the moment, I did my next joke. I refinished the joke, went to the TikTok joke, absolutely ate trash. I didn't even finish it. So I was like, all right, moving on, guys. Moved on, did the other stuff. That started working. Everything was working, bam, 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 bam. And then there was one moment where I lost him a little bit, and then I got him back, and then I lost him again, got him back. Playing with the crowd a little bit more because the guy started like yelling out. He was being funny, and I acknowledged it, and I crushed it with that. And then, but it was just back and forth, and it is what it is. Like, that's just part of what's going on. I got to prepare a little bit better, maybe a little sooner, like before I go on stage, 30 minutes instead of like 2 hours before. I think that it's just too far of a gap. So if I'm just rehearsing it in my head, like before, like 30 minutes before, I can really kind of like get it going in my mind, like what I'm going to do, what I'm going to say, and maybe even just kind of go through it's the beginnings where I struggle. Especially if I don't get a laugh or something, like I start breaking down immediately. And my homie Antonio, who did great last night, he said, like, I know you're breaking down, but it doesn't look like that. But I've seen you do comedy so many times, like, I know what's going on because I know where you're going with your jokes. But, like, on stage, your presence, it's, like, basically what he told me is, like, everything's there now. Your stage presence, your material's a lot better now. And the biggest thing is just your performance now. Trying to figure out the performance part of it. And that's where my collapse of comedy is kind of happening, like where the inconsistency comes is the performance and getting through the set and being smooth. And I think there's no way, I'm like a wild horse, dude. Like there's no way to break me but to keep fucking going on stage constantly and trying to get this organized. But yeah, so tonight we have Norieties. Trevor James runs that spot. He's been doing his thing, man. He's on stage. He's on that stage like every weekend now, doing 15 to 20 minutes. He's killing. He's doing great, which is dope to see. So I'm doing 8-minute set there, and I have to do the TikTok burn victim political joke because I got to see if it works other places than Wise Guys. Like I've done it at like open mics a lot, and when there's a crowd, it does great. But there's a couple words that I use that my friend told me, Antonio, he's like, I bet you if you switch this, I say something about, he showed up on my for-year page. He's like, sometimes when I say for-year page, I screw up the words. And he's like, maybe you should just switch it to algorithm, because then not a lot of people know what for-year page is. So if you did algorithm, like they would probably understand more. You got to like simplify it a little bit. And I bet you can get in and out of the words better and get a lot of, like if you're performing in front of older people, they might not know what for-year page is. Like it's kind of a younger thing. But algorithm, everybody knows what an algorithm is. So I'm going to switch that out, put that in there, see how that goes. And I'm going to go through the whole entire joke fully and then try to see if we can get it to work tonight and do my thing and see what happens. Because if I hit all right here, if I do good, then I think what happens is I get more opportunities, and especially like hosting opportunities there. So we'll see what happens. All right, let's get after it, boys. Guys, we are heading to Noriety right now. It's in downtown Las Vegas. Pretty crazy place, but it's a good time. Sorry, the camera is shaky. I don't have my camera holder thing, but either way, we're here. We're doing it. Just went over my set in my car, rehearsed it. Feel pretty confident. I just really want to hit my callbacks. It's an 8-minute set, so I might have to like tighten it up a little bit, but we'll see what happens. We'll see if I can get everything in and squeeze it in like I want to, but we're here and we're live, so let's get upstairs and see what's going on. Let's go.
I love when the good news coming in on a day-to-day. Already know what's happening, I don't gotta shake the hay. Big moves, big stepper in the right direction. The trip continues, every W's a psychedelic. Journey over accolades, divvy up the maculates. love to see the bros.